Hey there, Scoobies. Innocence follows right on from Surprise, making up the second part of this unofficial two-parter. And I think the episode is the exact moment that Buffy went from being a fun, mid-afternoon show to compelling AAA TV. The episode is written and directed by Whedon, and apparently his personal favourite episode of the show. We open on the Judge, resting, or meditating, or something like that. Spike is worried about Buffy and Angel, but Drew is less concerned.
My Angel's too smart to face the Judge again.
Notice how she says, my Angel. Factor in the possibility of her own prophetic dreams, it makes me wonder if Drew was waiting for Angel's turn all along. Her collapse and subsequent smile tells us what we already know. Something's wrong. Buffy wakes up alone in the thunderstorm, the maelstrom of what is about to happen. It turns out,
oh no,
Buffy wasn't the last words. The woman that comes to check if Angel's okay is played by Sophia Crawford, who was the stunt double for Sarah Michelle Gellar for the show's first 4 seasons. I love this scene. It's stupid. He takes a bite out of her neck and then blows out smoke. Like, that's not how it works, right? But despite the lack of biological reasoning, it works well for the character.
I feel just fine.
In this one moment, we are introduced to Angelus, and you get the real sense of who he is. The visual is like a post-sex cigarette, that release and contentment, relishing in the kill. And you can just tell that David was loving every moment of it. Buffy comes home from what can only be described as the walk of shame, as her mum unwittingly grills her.
So, did you have fun last night? Fun?
I tend to bash on Joyce a fair bit for her less than stellar parenting, and let's face it, complete lack of sense as to what's going on around her. But she does display a little awareness here.
Is something wrong? No. What would be wrong? I don't know, you just look.
Because, well, Buffy is different. She doesn't quite know it herself yet, but she will by the end of the episode. The rest of the Scoobies culminate and conclude that the Judge must have been assembled. As is ever the case, Buffy's heart is the first to raise the call to arms.
We gotta find him. We gotta go to that place, that factory. That's where they'd hold up, right?
But Buffy's mirror...
And do what? Besides be afraid and die?
Meanwhile, the logical centre...
If Buffy and Angel were harmed, then we don't stand to fare much better.
It's always fun watching the dialogue play out with each of the Scoobies' role in mind. Her heart and spirits ready to march to uncertain doom, leaving the mind at the door.
We were just going to rescue you.
Well, some of us were.
What? I would have.
They are halted by Buffy's return. The Scoobs are concerned about the Judge as Buffy wonders.
No one's heard from him?
Meanwhile, Drew is naming the stars.
You can't see the stars, love. That's the ceiling.
When Angel makes his grand reveal.
You don't give up, do you?
As long as there's injustice in the world, as long as scum like you is walking, or well, rolling.
And if it wasn't abundantly clear already...
It's clean.
Clean. You mean
There's no humanity in him.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And it's important to note that Angelus in his day was counted among one of the worst. The Judge had previously accused Drew and Spike of affection, but Angel is... clean. This turn heralded a shift in the overall personality of the show, like the shift in Angel himself. We have moved from afternoon B-movie schlock to genuine intrigue. Spike vocalises what I can only imagine is a 16-year-old's nightmare.
I've got to tell you, it made me sick to my stomach seeing you being the Slayer's lapdog.
That the genuine, kind-hearted boy was just play acting, and once they get what they want... What I especially like about this turn, much like all vampires, is that though the soul is gone, or the moral compass that the soul represents is gone, then what remains is pure desire, or drive. Take Jesse at the beginning, always obsessed with Cordelia. Even though he turned, that obsession remained. Spike, as we later find out, is obsessed by romance. And Angel's obsession?
You've really got a yen to hurt this girl, haven't you?
Back at the library, Buffy continues to consult the spirits on where Angel might have gone.
Well, Buffy, he probably has some plan and he's trying to protect you. Well, I don't know what. I'm not in on the plan. It's his plan.
Xander tries to apologise to Cordy, who nails the fundamental problem with their relationship.
I was crazed. I wasn't thinking.
I know, you were too busy rushing off to die for your beloved Buffy.
She feels like the booby prize. The show has often depicted Cordy like an airhead or shallow, But this isn't true of her character. As we see here, she isn't ignorant of Xander's feelings for Buffy and knows that in some way she is being used. And when they are caught...
Willow, we were just... Willow!
Her face tells a different story to her words. She not only seems to care that they've been caught, but is acutely aware of what this might mean to Willow, and how much it hurts her. Then it turns again, as she wonders if and why she cares. As for Willow...
I knew it! I knew it! You two were fighting way too much. It's not natural.
I like this discovery because I've seen it so much in friendship groups, in the office and so forth. And I agree with Xander's defence.
Gee, what stopped you? Could it be shame?
All right, let's overreact, shall we?
Even though it can be quite hypocritical considering his own reactions to Buffy's love life, but I do agree. Who he does or doesn't go out with is his choice. And as much as I love Willow, the fact is that she has a budding addiction to control, as evidenced here.
I know it's weird.
Weird? It's against all laws of God and man. It's...
I find this wholly unfair as she is dating Oz while emotionally cheating on him. And the subtext quickly becomes text.
It just means that you'd rather be with someone you hate than be with me.
I think this helps us set up for one of the most hated subplots of Season 3, mainly because it all feels too late despite the seeds being sown. Buffy goes back to Angel's place, where she finds him.
I was so worried.
And this is what we have been building towards.
You just left.
Yeah, I think I really wanted to stick around after that.
It's a trope for a reason. Nowadays, we talk a lot about red flags and recognising them. Throughout the whole of the first half of the season, Angel has been warning Buffy over and over of the potential consequences. This isn't because he knew what would happen to him, but because he knew deep down what he really was. And what makes Angel truly evil in this scene is the way in which he's able to gaslight her.
Was it me? Was I not good?
You were great. Really. I thought you were a pro.
The pro line being especially cruel, as he's mocking her on the one hand through sarcasm, indicating that the sex wasn't good, but by using the phrase pro, he's also likening Buffy to a hooker. And the icing on the cake?
I love you.
Love you too.
Buffy's trying desperately to hold on to the moment from surprise, to the romance, which is now crumbling around her. My hat goes off to Christoph Beck and his use of this theme, the small piano part accenting the breaking of Buffy's heart. We move to Jenny and her uncle.
We control nothing. We are not wizards, Yana. We merely play our part.
This exposition scene is here to help those of us that hadn't yet got the message, and to set Jenny up for the preceding events. As I often point out, where Buffy's story goes, so too does her spirit that's taken a knock.
I don't understand it. I don't want to understand it. You have gross emotional problems, and things are not okay between us.
I really enjoy this scene for Xander. Unlike Cordy, who is played off as dumb at times, despite proving otherwise, Xander is a little dumber. So it's nice when...
I think I'm having a thought. Yeah, that's a thought.
Angel shows up to help out.
And Willow. Come here.
Xander turns back just before Jenny stops Angel, like he had a feeling. Now, still on the Xander hype train, he gets a lot of flack for being a nerdy kid. But notice here, when it comes to Willow, he doesn't hesitate. The way the whole scene plays out...
Things are about to get very interesting.
...is especially important. It was Angel's plan to kill Willow, and his choice of victim was no coincidence.
I guarantee by the time you go public, she won't be anything resembling a threat.
Killing Willow would literally and metaphorically break Buffy's spirit, and there is a good chance she wouldn't have been able to be a threat after that. If it wasn't for Jenny and Buffy's courage, then things may not have worked out. In the next scene, Buffy's inner thoughts are made text by Giles.
What are we going to do?
Leaning towards blind panic myself.
And once again, Sarah Michelle Gellar's ability to cry on command shines through. While her mind struggles to make sense of the situation, her broken spirit bats it away.
Well, something set it off. Some event must have triggered his transformation. Well, did anything happen last night?
Giles, please.
Buffy!
Giles, shut up.
Luckily,
I have a plan.
back at their hideout, Angel's gloating.
I know you haven't been in the game for a while, mate, but we still do kill people.
Drew, as ever, understands.
You don't want to kill her, do you? You want to hurt her.
It's often said that the eyes are windows to the soul. Drew pokes at the doll's eyes when referencing hurting her. This could be a callback to the fact that he tried to kill Willow. Beck's theme is back, as Buffy looks at the cross Angel once gave her, and then at the claddagh ring. Noticing the recurring pattern, I looked up the song, and it's called Close Your Eyes. This works wonderfully as subtle foreshadowing. Buffy, broken and crying, retreats to the fetal position on the bed, dreaming of her time with Angel. We see his own ring, proving that he, like her, was truly in love, before changing to a memorial. I take this as the mourning of Angel's soul, and the prophetic dreams showing Jenny mourning it too. In the moment, this will cause Buffy to realise Jenny's part in all this, but she misses the bigger point. Jenny is intrinsically linked to Angel's soul, and what that might mean. Not waiting, Buffy storms straight into class to get answers.
Angel was supposed to pay for what he did to my people.
There's a great transition scene where we are led to believe that it's Buffy, but...
I suppose you want answers.
Not really.
As Oz pulls up to an army base, Xander's thoughts start to materialise.
You ever spent your leave snooping around the armory, pal?
The scene is a perfect encapsulation of the two versions of Xander. Firstly, the young man growing into confidence and bravery, despite often being outmatched.
Can you cut me some slack? Give me a blind eye?
And why should I?
Well, if you do, I won't tell Colonel Newsom that your boots ain't regulation, your post wasn't covered. And hold your gun like a sissy girl.
Then we have the nerdy Joker that holds him back at times.
You got 20 minutes, Nimrod.
I just need 5. Forget I said that last part.
But it's both of these people that make him who he is, as is showcased moments later.
I know procedure, ordnance, access codes, everything. I know the whole layout for this base, and I'm pretty sure I could put together an M16 in 57 seconds.
Well, I'm sort of impressed. Well, does looking at guns make you want to have sex?
I'm 17. Looking at linoleum makes me want to have sex.
Meanwhile, Oz and Willow are waiting for them to return.
Do you want to make out with me?
I'd love to give you a deep dive breakdown of Willow's emotional state and how she's used Oz to get back at Xander, but...
To the casual observer, it would appear that you're trying to make your friend Xander jealous. Or even the score, or something.
I've already explored this scene in my Oz video, so I won't go into too much detail here. But suffice to say that he's expressing his interest in Willow while retaining a healthy boundary for himself.
Oh, I'm not going to kiss you. See, in my fantasy, when I'm kissing you, you're kissing me.
And you can tell by the look on her face, it's working for her. Buffy finds Angel's message, and the judge is ready for his grand unveiling.
Oh, you look spiffy.
Spiffy?
As heartbreaking as Jenny's betrayal is for Giles,
I just want to help.
She said get out.
this moment only continues to strengthen the father-daughter bond he shares with his slayer. This all leading us to the third act showdown. And as cool as Angel's entrance is, Buffy's is better.
Try to keep back. Damage control only. Take out any lesser vamps if you can. I'll handle Smurf.
There's not much more to say about the ensuing battle other than it is badass.
No weapon forged can stop me.
That was then. This is now.
At least Angel and Drew had the good sense to get out of the way.
What's that do?
This does lead us to their final battle. Angelus continues to work on Buffy's mental fortitude, picking away at her.
The worst part was, pretending that I loved you.
Thinking it's helping him get the upper hand.
Come on, Buffy. You know you want it, huh?
But all the trolling only helps to give Buffy the anger she needs.
You can't kill me.
Give me time.
Giles drops Buffy home, and for the second time this episode...
Do you want me to wag my finger at you and tell you that you acted rashly? You did, and I can. I know that you loved him. And he's proven more than once that he loved you.
As always, Giles is both heartening without trivialising the problems. He also foreshadows some of his own trauma.
The coming months are going to be hard. I suspect on all of us.
And proving again just how wholesome he can be.
If it's guilt you're looking for, Buffy, I'm not your man. All you will get from me is my support and my respect.
The episode ends with Buffy sharing a moment with her mother, and a reverse of their earlier conversation.
I got older.
You look the same to me.
I've got to give it to Joyce here. Seeing her daughter deflated and not pushing or asking why, she just holds her. Between Surprise and Innocence, they tell her too familiar story of the first time. That sweet boy that told her everything she wanted to hear, until he got what he wanted. And then he turns into a demon. And in the overall allegory of the show, having sex being a milestone in growing up, it makes sense that the jeopardy rises accordingly. The episode deals with the fallout from the first time, the walk of shame, feelings of inadequacy and anxiety of not being called back. Then the moment she finds out it was all an act, that the feelings weren't mutual, and that she was used. The episode showcases these things, but this is not the point. The point was about how Buffy handled it. The message isn't the trauma, it's the getting up and fighting back, holding your head up high despite adversity, and in this case, which is often lost in modern times, that words are just that, and they only hurt if you let them. Despite Buffy's inner turmoil, she draws strength from her anger, as she once said to Kendra.
How the anger gives you fire? Slayer needs that.
And despite what she's going through, she's stronger because of it.
Remember